Some box office breakdown. Jurassic World is still holding on strong to the #1 spot at the box office this weekend with 54.2 million for its third week in a row at the top position. Disney's animated film Inside Out came in a close second with 52.1 million in its second week. Seth MacFarlane Ted 2 debuted coming in under Universal's own estimate with only 32.9 million, which was good enough for third place. Warner Brothers' movie about a dog with PTSD, Max, debuted in fourth place with 12.2 million. Rounding out the top 5 was Paul Feig's Spy, starring Melissa McCarthy, with 7.8 million. Dennis, what's your take on this weekend's box office numbers?
Continued to be surprised by Jurassic World. That's over 500 million domestically, over 1 billion worldwide. No one saw that coming. Inside Out holding strong also because I think the drop-off was only about 42%, which means a lot of repeated viewings and good word of mouth. Ted 2, on the other hand, was disappointing for Universal, but I guess they don't have to really be that concerned because with Furious 7 and Jurassic World like nailing it, they're sitting pretty. So it's not a bomb by any means. It was just disappointing. So I think they were projecting like 45 to 50 million. So it was definitely under that. What do you think, Schnepp?
Yeah, I mean, surprised that Jurassic World keeps making those numbers, but I mean, because the critics weren't that kind to it, so I thought for sure after the second weekend there would be some kind of drop off, but I guess not enough. Maybe those people were like, "Those critics are wrong. I need to see it for myself," So I guess the surprise for me is Ted, that it didn't do as well, but yeah, I haven't seen it yet. But once again, the critics did not like it. Max, I was surprised that made so much money. So.
Else?
This is shaping up to be a battle between the fourth weekend of Jurassic Park opening, Jurassic World, versus Terminator Genesis. If I was Terminator Genesis, I'd be genuinely concerned that my movie isn't going to be the #1 action kind of film because Jurassic Park is doing so well. It's not that rare to see a movie have an incredible opening weekend in the summer, but to see it through these numbers week after week after week, when there's so much other competition rolling in every time a movie opens. I mean, like you look at Ted 2, that might be, it's maybe not that disappointing for an opening weekend, but the fact that it's the middle of the summer and you have all these movies coming out, you got Magic Mike, you have Minions, you have Terminator coming out. People don't have that much money to spend on movies every week. So Ted 2, it seems like a bit of a fizzle, which is disappointing because I thought it was hilarious. Is it a great movie? Of course not, but it's really funny. Inside Out is going to have its handful with Minions too. So I think Jurassic World might be the #1 movie over the 4th of July weekend, which is insane to think about.
Well, let me ask you guys this. With Ted 2's disappointing box office numbers, do you guys equate that to people's response to Seth MacFarlane's last film, which wasn't the first Ted movie, but it was A Million Ways to Die in the West, which, opened at like 16 point something million, and it just was a box office bomb. Do you think that's their reaction to that?
I think so. I think there's some of that stink left over. If he did Ted 2 right after Ted, I think it would have done way better.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it might be that. I think part of it is just movies get very competitive in the summertime, and Ted, when it came out, was such an original take on a guy and his bear that's talking, but it's really foul-mouthed. It's also an R-rated comedy. It's a comedy sequel, which tend to be disappointing both critically and in the box office numbers. So I think it's a bunch of different factors that all really came together to punish Ted.
Yeah, I think a lot has to do with A Million Ways to Die in the West, because people went to go see Ted, the first Ted, because of Seth MacFarlane's name. They also some people went to go see A Million Ways to Die in the West, and they were disappointed. And I'm sure people probably watched that later on VOD or Rent or whatever the hell, and then they're like, yeah, people were right. This sucked.
Yeah.
And so the Ted 2, they were less excited for.